For doors and windows, there's lots of possibilities of how your doors and windows might look. This one might be the simplest because it's just the lines going horizontally and vertically. This one you can see is built in, and then these are all separate. So depending on how big the door is, shows us how big these buildings are. So you can kind of decide like how many stories they might have, and then I would say that if you make the doors, like here I could put doors on both of these buildings and then keep them consistent. So if I make the tops of the doors, that's where the top of the door is. Anything that's normally horizontal would be heading back to the vanishing point, and then vertical lines stay vertical in 2-point perspective. So then there is one door, and here is this door. Now, if it's a double door, like on an office building, a lot of times you'll see that. Might make my dot before, since I can't see through this. Could do that. All right. And then if I wanted, and then I should have a door over here too, so I can do that here. And I could put a door on both sides of this building. All right, so it was about that size. Door. So the top of the door, and then the vertical sides, making sure that those lines really are vertical. Okay. Although this door looks like it's slightly different. I might just make it a little bigger so it looks more like it matches. I think it was probably more like this. Okay, so for the windows, if you like this look, you want to give yourself a dot on the corner so that all of those windows are the same. So what I could do here is measure. It's about 4 inches high. So if I went every 1/2 inch, give myself a little mark. And then this side, the windows would go back this way. So I'd line it up. It's going to skip over the door. Then I want to make sure as I move my ruler that it's still lined up with that vanishing point. There we go. So then on this side, I will do the same thing. I'm going to move this so that I'm on the bottom side of the ruler so I can see what I'm drawing here. I've noticed it helps if I put my pencil on the vanishing point and then I just swing it up to where I'm going to meet it. Okay, and then I just need the vertical lines. So perhaps, now technically these lines would get closer together as it goes back. So I could think about measuring this 2 inches, I don't know. Sometimes I just kind of guess, but I would want them to kind of look similar since it's the same building. I don't know if this side looks like it might be a little bit wider. And then these lines would all just be vertical. So this is probably the simplest way to do windows. I think that might line up with the edge of my door, almost. And again, draw light, because you never know when you need to erase. Here we go, making sure that they are staying nice and vertical. All right, so now I need to make sure that I'm putting windows on both sides of these buildings too. So I could try a different one. If I wanted to do something like this, I could, well, it still might make sense to do those marks so that my windows are the same size. So I'm going to make a 1/2 inch with 1/8 of an inch in between. 1/2 inch. If you are a person that's thinking about being an architect, you might love this assignment. So this is a different kind of an assignment where we are trying to be precise. So I'm doing a 1/2 inch and 1/8 of an inch so that these windows look similar. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw this lightly because I'm not going, oh, I don't think that was lined up. Bummer. Okay, try it again. All right. And sometimes your windows do end up lining up on the horizon line. I see that that one is going to. All right. I have seen office buildings that have this, like the narrow windows and the wide windows. So I could almost keep it that way too. But I can show you at least one row of of how I would draw individual windows. If you find a pencil that writes light, that's a great one for this lesson. Oh, let's see, maybe one more. Okay, so if I wanted to go from this to this, then what I'm doing is I would have my vertical line. I probably wanted to go like that so I can see how far from the edge it is. And I would mark, and that was going to be the big ones are the windows, and then I'd move over here and mark that. I'll do one more here. I think I might keep it the other way, so I'll just show you what it would look like. So those would all line up because I would make my lines all the way down, and then I would erase these in between. So that's how I would get something like this, where all the windows are the same, but I'm kind of liking this narrow and wide, so I might erase these vertical lines. There's lots of different designs you can do for windows. It's up to you what you want, but as I said, your windows kind of show us how many stories high your building is. So this one, if that's the door, then it's first floor, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 11 stories high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, perhaps. So anyway, windows and doors, both sides, and a street. And I think I'm gonna make this a little wider just so that I'm gonna show you sidewalk and street in case you wanna do that. Because we will need this. And then my street's gonna go right off. Okay, so if I'm doing a sidewalk, the sidewalk would end just a little bit beyond here. And it would go like this. And then this side lines up to this. And then the lines of the sidewalk, as they always put those lines in, these lines are going to go back to this one. And I should visually kind of make sure that those look like they would all be the same size. I would keep going all the way back, or however far back the sidewalk goes, and then this side would line up, back up. Oops, did I just go on the wrong side of the ruler? Oh dear. Okay, well, let's make sure I'm on the same side. There we go. I kind of like doing this so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so this, there I've got it, the square, and then I'm just gonna visually look and try to make sure that these two sidewalks match. And then if there was a curb of the sidewalk, so I would keep doing that. If there was a curb, I could draw an additional line, and that's probably gonna just even disappear. And then back here, that. And then the road would be beyond it. So then if that's a sidewalk, 2 cars, it might be out to here. That might seem more like a realistic size of a road. And then this could be a road too, and I would need to use my T-square for that. And it would continue here and there. So I've got an intersection. So the cars could also go that way. And then of course the sidewalk would not be there. Okay, well, good luck today.